Welcome back and welcome to our weekly edition of All Things Women in Sports. The 2026 Paralympic Games in Italy officially wrapped up this weekend. The U.S. finished second overall in the medal count, just behind China, with 24 total medals. Of those, 15 were won by women. So let's talk about them. Kate Delson took home 2 medals in para snowboarding, with a silver in snowboard cross and gold in banked slalom. She was born with a congenital disability and didn't know if she would ever walk. But today, she says she's even better at snowboarding than she is at walking. Another snowboarding medal came from Brenna Huckabee, who took home bronze in the banked slalom. This is the 3-time Paralympian's 5th career medal after having her leg amputated at 14 years old. On and off the slopes, she is a leading voice in disability advocacy. Turning to the slopes, the rest of Team USA's women won their medals in ski events. So we're going to start with Sydney Peterson, who took home silver in the Sprint Classic and 2 golds for the Classic and Interval Start Free. This is the 2nd time she has competed at the Paralympics. At 13 years old, Sydney was diagnosed with a neurological disorder that severely impacted the mobility of her left arm and leg. 3 years ago, she went through a very intense, highly invasive brain operation to reverse the worsening effects of her disorder. But flash forward to now, she is a 7-time Paralympic medalist. Another gold for Sydney came from Team USA's mixed relay team. They took home gold for the 2nd games in a row. Sydney Peterson was one of the 4 American athletes on the team, along with another woman, Oksana Masters, who we'll get to in just a moment. But first, we have to talk about Kendall Gretsch. At this year's games, she took home bronze in the individual biathlon and the 10K Classic. That's 2 medals right there. And then Kendall also won silver in the sprint biathlon and gold in the sprint pursuit biathlon, 4 in total for these games. The Downers Grove native was born with spina bifida and is a dual-season athlete, meaning she competes in the Summer and Winter Paralympic Games. Over her career, she has competed in 5 games and won 11 medals. And finally, Oksana Masters. She's another dual-season athlete competing in the Summer and Winter Games. And this year, Oksana won bronze in the 20K interval start and then 3 straight golds in the Sprint Biathlon, Sprint Classic, and 10K Classic. And by the way, that does not include her gold for the team mixed race. Oksana was born in Ukraine, where Chernobyl is suspected to have given her birth defects impacting her hands and legs. But Oksana has never let anything slow her down. She is the most decorated U.S. Winter Paralympian of all time with 16 total medals. All right, closer to home, we have 3 local ladies nominated for this week's Midwest Technical Institute Score Standout. So grab your phones. We'll start with Ella Junkie from Rock Island, who went 2 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs in the Rock's 11-3 win over Erie Prophetstown. We also have Lily Pfaff from Rockridge, who was selected to compete on the 2026 Team Illinois ski team and is actually competing this week. And also nominated is Brooklyn Smith from Geneseo, who won the 1600 and 3200 at the St. Ambrose High School Girls Classic. That's some good competition right there. If you scan this QR code, it'll take you directly to the page to vote, or you can always find it at WQAD.com. You have until tomorrow at noon to cast your vote, and each week's winner is featured on Off the Cuff. And finally tonight, the NWSL kicked off the 2026 season this weekend. The newly expanded 16-team league shattered opening weekend records across the country. More than 129,000 fans came out for the 8 kickoff games this weekend, making it the best attended opening in the league's history. But the highest attended game was in Boston, where the brand new Boston Legacy FC welcomed reigning champs Gotham FC. And in Kansas City, the Currents had their 27th straight regular season home sellout, continuing their perfect attendance since their stadium opened in March 2024. And I know the Paralympics just wrapped up, but we're already looking ahead to the 2028 Olympic Games, and that is because tournament organizers have just released the soccer schedules, which have locked this in as the largest women's competition in Olympic history. So get this, in LA in 2028, for the very first time, the women's tournament will feature 16 teams, outpacing the 12 teams on the men's side. And that'll do it for this week's edition of Women in Sports.